And here it is, Felkon bringing the Norskins against Viking and the Lizardmen. Felkon from Clan XMT and Viking Cat representing Clan RTK. This is round one of their best of 5, and winner will be moving on to the top 8 final stage of the tournament, which will happen next Saturday. So don't miss it. That's where the prize money will be divvied up. So, got... who should we start with? Let's start with the Norskins, huh? So we have Felkon over here. First time we're going to be seeing him today, but of course, one of the best known players in the world at the moment. Going to have 3 Marauder Hunters with Javelins. He's then going to have Marauder Champions. Oh, wow, looks like a decent number of Marauder Champions, too. So, let's see how many we got here. 1, 2 Marauders. And make that 4 Marauders. Then we're going to have at least 2 Marauder Champions that I can see. Other than that, we are going to have Skin Wolves on the flanks. Looks like just the generic Skin Wolf, so one right here. And then we're going to have another one over here in the woods. Not quite hidden, though. I'm not sure if he's aware of that. And then for the leadership... Oh, sorry, and before the leadership, we have the Beast of Tashnar here, vanguarded out just in front. And we're going to have a Fimir Belfiend of Shadows with Penumbral Pendulum, nothing else besides our kind of Arcane Conduit. We got a Fimir Belfiend of Fire too, with Piercing Bolts of Burning and Kindle Flame, with nothing else. So a lot of offensive magic here so far. Got Throg with the Wintertooth Crown that gives Unbreakable trait to any allies within 40 meters of him. And that lasts for 24 seconds. So that's the Norscan army. I'm curious to see how the Piercing Bolts of Burning are utilized here. Now for the Lizardmen being brought by the Viking Cat, or sorry, RTK, TheViKing, we're going to have Skink Cohort, as well as 3 of them with Javelins. Got some Saurus Warriors with Shields. And then we're going to have Cold One Riders. So 2 there. We're going to be seeing Salamander Hunting Pack to shoot down those fireballs, which will be very useful against Skin Wolves. We have a Feral Carnosaur, and then we have Mazdamundi here on top of his Triceratops Slack. Going to be seeing Grand Shield of the Old Ones, Arcane Unforging Apotheosis, along with Greater Arcane Conduit on top of him. And we have a Skink Chief up in the air on his Pterodon, and I think that rounds out the Lizardmen forces. So, time to see what happens, and the Salamander Hunting Pack are coming out. And looks like they're going to be trying to fire at Throg immediately, but they're in range of the Javelins now, so they're going to have to turn around before they take too much damage. And it looks like they're going to be doing that just in time. But oh no, the friendly fire on top of his own Cold One Riders. Not going to do too much, fortunately, but still always unfortunate to see you hit your own units. Right now, it does look like Throggy Boy got an Arcane Unforging on top of himself. I was thinking it was a Net of Mintok, but then I remembered Mazdamundi did not have it. And Throggy Boy's just coming out to play. We got the Marauders coming out too. And yeah, the Norskins are just pushing forward with everything they got at the moment. But oh, look at this. Got the Cold One Riders diving in. Grand Shield of the Old Ones is fought down. The Javelins are firing away though, and they're doing a lot of damage. Going to be seeing those Cold One Riders taking the brunt of it. But the Salamander Hunting Pack is now in a very good position. You can see they're just formed up here, have a nice angle to fire down in on the Norskins as they approach. And their damage is going to be significant considering Throg and the Skin Wolves both have that 22% weakness to fire. Oh man, the Skin Wolves just getting smashed by those fireballs, but they still have 17 models left. So they should be able to get right back up to combat effectiveness as long as they play it safe, regenerate some health, and come back to the fight. Alright, Feral Carnosaur getting into combat. It does look like Felkon's formations are getting a little bit sloppy. He has his Javelins, though, nicely focused on top of the Feral Carnosaur, and it's going to be forced to retreat, otherwise it would most likely die very quickly. Oh my goodness, here comes that Penumbral Pendulum, and oh man, smashing through the Skink Cohort and Saurus Warrior line, doing quite a lot of work. Skin Wolves continuing to get shot up by the Salamander hunting pack, and this balance of power is dead even right now, guys. Over here, Skin Wolves getting terror routed after they were trying to go after the Salamander hunting pack. The Feral Carnosaur responsible for that kill. Down here, we're going to see Throg fighting the Cold One Riders. Cold One Riders aren't going to be the most threatening thing to the Norskins, but they are going to be threatening to the Javelins. But it looks like the Beast of Tashna are going to dive in here to try to block, play some defense for the Hunter Javelins. And it also looks like we have some Skeet cohort coming into the backline to get on top of them as Lord Mazdamundi dives into combat on top of them as well. Higher level view of the battle shows that the Lizardmen are doing a good job in their backlines. You can see the Feral Carnosaur is successfully protecting the Salamander hunting pack. The Marauder Champions, though, are keeping up some good pressure on the Marauder the Salamander hunting pack. So with the superior speed, I imagine the Salamanders will be able to get out of harm's way, though. But going back to the frontline engagements, you know, it's just kind of a big, fat brawl. Haymakers being thrown left and right. And you can see Mazdamundi over here, maybe a bit overextended. He does have some Saurus Warriors supporting him, though. And we got the two Fimir Belfiends plus Throg, though, triple teaming him. And that's a lot of power. But here comes some more support for the Lizardman player here. We have the Javelins throwing into Mazdamundi now. Skin Wolves coming in. This could be a very, very bad position for the Lizardmen here. Viking Cat may have bitten off a bit more than they can chew. And if Mazdamundi goes down, that's kind of the linchpin for the Lizardmen, and it looks like there's nothing that can save Mazdamundi from his fate right now. The Chief and the Cold One Riders are doing their best to take care of these Javelins, but Mazdamundi is going to die right here. And, oh, but look at that. Terror going in on top of the Fimir Belfiend. Fireball is coming in to support. Can Mazdamundi survive? No, he's going to shatter before he can get out of there, and there he goes, dead with some friendly fire to finish him off. So just like that, the Norse can start looking much stronger in this battle as it wears on. The loss of Mazdamundi is great. I don't think the battle is over yet. Salamander hunting pack, if utilized correctly, can still get a lot of work done, and you still have the Feral Carnosaur. Sorry, the Feral Carnosaur hanging on by a thread, but these Marauder Hunter Javelins are just doing work. Skin Wolves chasing down the Salamander hunting pack. Feral Carnosaur is wavering and routing now. Oh my god, routing to Marauders. What happened, Mr. Carnosaur? There's a chance he comes back in time to kill these Skin Wolves, but I think it's looking like a Lizardman loss here across the battlefield, but a very close fight and a very well played game to both of these players. Oh wait, balance power flipped back. I think it's because the Carnosaur came back, but oh no, he's holding still, he's idle. And he's going to take a broadside from the Javelins. Oh, Rampage going in, but luckily he's already on top of the Skin Wolves. And a big charge from that Carnosaur. Can he kill off these Skin Wolves? Looks like he will. Cold-blooded going down on top of the Feral Carnosaur from the Skink Chief. Salamander hunting pack down here still have a lot of ammunition, and their leadership is good. But Feral Carnosaur hasn't got to hightail it out of here. Throg is coming for him. So is the Fimir Belfiend of Shadows. Got the Javelins behind them coming after him too. But it does look like this guy's going to be able to escape for now. And we'll see what he does. Oh, no, 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 no. Do not turn in like that. Now he's going to get the broadside from the Javelins. And that was a critical mistake. He was just out of their range, and I think if he would have continued to stay just out of their range, he would have been okay. But there goes the shatter, and I think army losses will be soon to follow. Yeah, I don't see a path to victory here. Throg's going to regenerate his health. The Salamander hunting pack are great, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they're great enough to defeat the remaining Norscan forces by themselves. Oh, and a rear charge from the Beast of Tashnar going in on top of him. Yeah, that looks like it'll be all she wrote. Even the Skink Chief now getting targeted by those javelins. And I have to say, Felkon's javelin play has absolutely been on point this battle. I think it's one of the main contributing factors to his victory there. That turn looks like a debug camera mistake. That's a fair point, Aristo. Yeah, the champions did some really good work there. 111.78. They're kind of the anchor to the Norscan front line, and I think they were the deciding factor in basically saying, like, yeah, we're going to win this infantry engagement against Lizardmen, but not to mention the Belfiend of Shadows got some sick penumbral pendulums down there. I didn't see the piercing bolts of burning. Maybe I just missed it, or maybe he didn't get a chance to cast it off. It is rather expensive, so maybe he just decided to focus more on the penumbral pendulums. But yeah, I do think the Lizardmen here by Viking, led by Viking, played it a bit too aggressively in some of those plays, Mazda Mundi in particular. And then the cold ones too, like, I like that they were, you know, causing so much chaos for the Norskins, but I think they would have been stronger in a backline fight. And just let the front lines get engaged. Don't send your monsters in there until you have to, and let the Salamander hunting pack do as much damage as possible. They had a lot of ammunition, but I think without the Cold One riders in the backline to protect them, they just got chased for most of that battle. And when they're getting chased, they can't be applying that crazy good damage from their fireballs. So, yeah, a great start to this series. That was a really close game, but Felkon, he's on point, playing viciously with those 100 javelins. And the triple team of the Fimir Belfiends with Throg was quite effective in taking down Lord Mazdamundi in a quick way. Onjaga, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. So here we have it, people. Once again, this is the HW League Season 6 playoffs. Got XMT Felkon with the Lizardmen versus RTK TheViKing with the Greenskins. This is round 2, and it is match point for Felkon. If he wins this, he will be moving on to the top 8 finals next week for a double elimination style tournament. Otherwise, Viking Cat has this opportunity to claw his way back into the series. So, starting with Felkon once again, our blue player, we're going to have 4 Pterodon riders up in the air. Other than that, we're going to have minimal infantry. It's going to be 4 Skink cohort with javelins. Got some Temple Guard and the cohort of Sotek red-crested Skinks. We're going to have some Croxagores in this back line for some smashing power. And then we're going to have, oh my goodness, is this the Thunderous one? Ancient Stegodon, Regiment of Renown? It certainly is. And then aside from that, we're going to have Lord Mazdamundi. So very simple, straightforward army. Got some dino killing power and some aerial skirmishers. Got Banishment, Shield of the Old Ones, Apotheosis, Harmonic Conversions, and the Net of a Nintok with the Sunburst Standard of HWL. So Mazdamundi leading this Lizardman army, and we'll see how it fares against the Greenskins being brought by Viking Cat, aka RTK TheViKing. Going to have a goblin front line by the looks of it. Looks like 1, 2 regular goblins, or make that 3, as well as the 8-peak loonies over here, the unbreakable variant. We're going to have Orc Boarboy Biggins with Durkit Squigs and some Forest Goblin Spider Rider Archers and Mogram's Mangy Marauders. Other than that, we have Orc Boys, so relatively cheap infantry across the board, which I think is going to work out just fine here since the Lizardmen don't really have any super heavy-duty infantry either. And I think that was a total of, what was that, 5 Orc Boys? Yes, it is, 5 Orc Boys. Now, to round things off, we're going to have a Goblin Big Boss on top of a Wolf. He's going to have They Need Stabbin'. And then for the hero, the Lord and Monsters, we're going to have an Arachnarok Queen with the Goblin Great Shaman on top of his Arachnarok Spider with the Spider Shrine. He's going to have, as you just saw, Warp Gaze going down on there. Sorry, not Warp Gaze. Vindictive Glare, Itchy Nuisance, Arcane Conduit, Crown of Command, and Don't Even Try It on top of himself. So, they need, or Sneaky Stabbing is also involved with Sneaky Stealing. Yeah, this army is very interesting to me. One thing that these Arachnarok Queens, or Arachnarok Spiders will both be able to do well is they have a natural counter skirmishing tool against the Pterodon Riders since they have all those javelins on their back. So we'll see how much damage they can do over time, but it's going to be nice for the Greenskins to know they can at least have those guys to get some damage done. Over here, though, every single unit of Skink Cohort with javelins is pushing forward, and they're throwing everything they can at the Goblin Great Shaman. Luckily, the Goblin Great Shaman does have 120 armor, so it's going to be able to ignore a lot of that damage, but still, got to be careful here. And Goblin Great Shaman already taking some significant damage. It looks like it's down about half health. Thunderous One diving in, but the Thunderous One hopefully didn't bite off more than it can chew because you have a Goblin Big Boss and the Arachnarok Queen in combat as well. And that could be pretty devastating. Over here, bombs dropping down on top of the Mogrim's Mangy Marauders, and we see a lot of dead goblins, a lot of dead wolves. In come the Orc Boarboy Biggins, and we'll see what happens. But now the Greenskins' problem is their infantry has not held up to the onslaught in the center. So the Croxagores are making a huge difference with the Red-Crested Skink. Thunderous Run is taking some damage, got Apotheosis on top of it. The Goblin Great Shaman continuing to get focused right now. Goblin Big Boss still in combat, doing well. Wah has just been popped. Spider Hatchlings are on the field, and it looks like the Greenskins have dealt with the rest of the Lizardmen line. Got Durkit Squigs and Force Goblin Spider Riders coming in to fight, and once they close this back line off and get the surround, I think the Lizardmen are going to be in trouble. So the Thunderous One taking a lot of damage still. Got the Goblin Big Boss in here, hitting him in the back continuously. Every single javelin the Pterodon Riders have is sinking into the Goblin Great Shaman, and it looks like it's about to pay off as he is now routing, and that is going to be a painful loss for the Greenskins to lose their leadership. Terror kicking in on top of the Goblin Big Boss as well. So the Greenskins absolutely need to get something going here, and they have so much spare infantry. We'll see how they are utilized. Right now, Durkit Squigs kind of pulling back, staying away from this main engagement. And the Arachnarok Queen now too is routing. Mazda Mundi and the Thunderous One surrounding it on both sides with Croxagore support. And now the Lizardmen are suddenly taking their turn to start pulling this balance of power in their favor significantly. Will the Greenskins be able to pull this back? They were looking very strong for a moment there, but Terror Routes could spell defeat from here on out unless the Greenskins can regroup and get something going. Right now, the Goblin Great Shaman is down to a mere 1,000 HP. Arachnarok Queen is down to 2,100 HP. We still have the Durkit Squigs and the Orc Boarboy Biggins in here, but Terror's going to kick in on top of them. They got to be careful. They're both routing now. I don't know. The Lizardmen look like they're getting stronger by the minute now, and not sure what's going to happen from here. The Goblin Great Shaman should be able to survive. I would send the Goblin Big Boss over to continue basically accompanying him to help get the leadership up, try to get him regrouped. And then the Arachnarok Queen, same thing. Do not send it back into combat right now. You need to pull these units back, get regrouped, and then go back into the engagements, because right now it looks like the Arachnarok Queen is heading right back into the jaws of the monster, and it's going to be bad. That's going to be bad news. Over here, I think the Goblin Big Boss was just murdered, and that's another big loss for the Greenskin forces. So in spite of a very promising start, I think the Greenskins are going to have this slip through their fingers. Yeah, Arachnarok Spider dove back into combat, getting routed almost immediately. And yeah, that infantry advantage that the Greenskins had there for a minute when they were overwhelming the front line of the Lizardmen just wasn't able to be capitalized on, and the two monsters the Greenskins brought to deal with the dinos, although they got a lot of damage done, I just don't think they committed to the right engagements, and as a result, they're going to be going down for the count here. Yeah, no, on top of just, you know, the RNG deciding some things, I do think the Greenskins didn't have enough supporting units in their monster engagement. Initially, they had the advantage, but once the Croxagores got in there and the Temple Guard, things just started going pear-shaped quickly. Looks like Felkon is not giving up yet. There's a lot of money on the line trying to save the Arachnarok Queen. Dirkit Squigs getting on top of these Pterodon Riders. We have Orc Boys coming into the fight as well, but the Arachnarok Queen continues to rout. There goes. All right, the Arachnarok Queen has just regained her leadership. Pterodon Riders look like they may get terror routed here. Oh, but Shatters are kicking in across the board, and that's going to be a GG. Felkon winning this in a 2-0 fashion, but really strong plays from Viking Cat in this series. Unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough, and XMT Felkon will be moving forward to the top 8 final stage. Yeah, I agree with that, Iron Thunder. I think the Goblin Great Shaman should have been a lot more cautious, and yeah, I just don't think the Greenskins needed to commit to such a long-term engagement that early on. I think they could have held off a bit and would have been better off for it if they just played it a bit more patiently. They had the tools to completely demolish all of the Lizardman infantry, which they did early on there. And I think if they would have focused just like, all right, let's eliminate the infantry, not worry about getting engagements with the monsters just yet. And once the infantry was whittled down and the Greenskins had that advantage, they could have taken their time, surrounded the dinosaurs that Felkon brought to the field, and win from there. But all things are easier said than done. I'm just a third-person commentator, so when I see these things, it seems easy. But when you're playing the battle, of course, it is very difficult. Felkon and Viking Cat, two of the best players around. A big shout out to Viking Cat for participating and playing so well today, and to Felkon, you know, congrats, you've secured your position in the top 8 finals. So we're going to see how he does next week, but for now, I think my co-caster will be joining me, and let's go find some other battles to cast.